Hey, how are you? We talk a lot about change with the new year, and everyone is trying to make a lot of different changes in different aspects of their life. But the question is, are you actually making a change? And what is this change that you're trying to make? And then let's talk a little bit about what in the world would this have to do with healthcare? Because if you guys haven't met me or you don't know me yet, my name is Tugender, and I am a corporate speaker and trainer in the field of healthcare. I not only teach health professionals how to implement systems into their practices, but I teach people who want to work in the industry like myself on how to put in products and programs to really make a difference. Because let's face it, the only thing that I can predict is more change when it comes to healthcare in 2017. And January, we're right here in the second week of January. And what's the biggest thing? That's probably going to be weight loss, weight management. And so I want to talk a little bit about habits. So there's two things that I want to talk about. I want to talk about habits as just an individual and what that has to do for you, and then some habits of how I work with some health professionals to make some habits. You want to stick around to the end because I'm going to give you an opportunity to dive in a little bit deeper into this topic, not just with me, but with an expert who really is in this field. But first, if we want to make a habit, you know what's really interesting? So I don't know if you guys know, but I went to Boston University. That's where I met my husband, Dan, love of my life. We met because he actually had some college credits. Well, we met because he wanted to get me to a party. Like, let's real talk. He came into my room, knocked on my door, and asked my roommate and I to go to a party. I didn't go to the party. Tay did. I'll have to tag Tay in the comments. She said, these guys are cool. And so we ended up hanging out, having a lot of the same classes because Dan and I were both broadcast journalism majors. And he actually had some college credits going into this. And so I used to help him with his homework, and he used to book me into classes because he had priority. So he would get us the good classes at the good times, and he'd save a seat for me as well. And then figure out our whole schedule. And so we changed majors. He was advertising, I was public relations, but we did a lot of the same classes together, and that got us both through college, I think, successfully. And so when Dan and I were studying marketing, there's so many interesting cases where it's not the product, it's not the service, it's not even the science behind it that makes a product work. It's creating a habit. And that's how things get done. And so it's funny because in my experience as a pharmaceutical rep, and that was my first job out of Boston University, I sold at one point, one of the products that I had was an antibiotic. And the difference between my branded antibiotic and why it cost the consumers more and why the formularies hated it, because we had really great compliance because it was a 1-a-day product instead of most antibiotics, which are a 2 to 3 time a day product. Hopefully you haven't been on antibiotics in a while, but I don't know about you guys, it's really hard to remember to take something on a consistent basis, to do the same thing every single day. And especially, if you're on something for just, maybe this is an antibiotic and you just need to be on it for 3 to 14 days, that's really, they say 21 days to make a habit. I don't know if there's actually any real science behind it. I've looked that up. But so I don't know if it's a little longer or shorter. I know my mom did a little research into that topic. Maybe she'll post below and let us know how long it actually takes to make a habit, because I know that she did that. But another interesting case study that I learned at BU was the story about toothpaste. Yes, toothpaste is good for you. It is one of those products that there is some really great science about brushing your teeth. But did you know that the fact that it foams up and leaves you like, I'll feel your teeth like this. Have you brushed your teeth in a while? I just brush my teeth because I'm going out. If you go like that, like I have these, they're pretty smooth teeth at the moment. But when you go over your teeth and you feel that like gritty feeling, you're like, oh, I kind of need to brush my teeth. And it's that foaming action that actually, you get addicted to that, and that's what helped form that habit. And you feeling your teeth. Oh, do I need to brush them or not, right? We do this. You do like the breath check, right? And so that's the habit. It doesn't matter. I can tell you how good for you it is going to be to brush your teeth. A girlfriend of mine, we were talking about her supplement regimen, and a doctor recommended that she started doing omega-3s. And I was like, I thought you were already on omega-3s. And she's like, I was, and I know the benefit of them, but I just got out of the habit of it. And how many times do we do this? We just fall out of habit. You know, there was nothing. Omega-3s, they're not really like a sexy thing. It's not, you don't get that like a toothbrush, like toothpaste. You know, there's this foaming, bubbling sensation. There's nothing really there. So if you want to make whatever your resolution is, if you want to make this a habit, then you have to find something that's really going to be some sort of a behavioral trigger for you. I was just talking to a group of people that I coach in saying that there's certain things that I do throughout my day. Like every time that I take a shower, I put a Bluetooth speaker in my shower now, and that prompts me to listen to something that's going to fuel my mind. I don't even care if I'm only in the shower for 4 to 6 minutes. That's 4 to 6 minutes of something from my mind that I wouldn't have done. So I go to put the shower on, I see the Bluetooth speaker, I'm like, oh, I really should watch a video. I turn it on. And that has helped me because personal development is something that I'm going to continue to do more of in 2017. And that was something that I wanted to do. So maybe it's exercising, maybe it's eating healthy, maybe it's a business goal. Another thing that I do is every time I get in the car, I think about, who do I need to follow up with? What call can I make right now? Because we call it windshield time, right? You're just driving and all you're doing is looking at your windshield. It's no face-to-face connection. How can I maximize that windshield time? All right, so what does this have to do with healthcare? Well, one of the biggest things that we're looking towards in 2017, okay, we're going to not dispute that health professionals have seen that their income has gone steadily down. Reimbursements are down, but there's certain areas where there's actually money that they're leaving on the table. And a lot of these have to do now with wellness, with prevention, for them showing that favorable outcomes are happening with their patients. But they've practiced now for 10, 15, 20 years without thinking about wellness, without incorporating preventative care. Someone comes in, they have a headache, they treat the headache, the patient goes on their way. If they need a follow-up, they book a follow-up. Sometimes they don't. I was on the phone recently with a dermatologist, and they were like, well, the next time you come in, maybe we can talk about this. I was like, I go to the dermatologist. I mean, I probably should go more often, but let's say best case scenario, which I don't do, cobbler's kids, right? Never have any shoes. But I work in healthcare. You would think I would go to the dermatologist more often. But like, let's say best case scenario, I'm going once a year as long as I don't have a problem. That's not enough, right? And so I just came, I'm not going to wait a whole year to talk to you about this. And so what they're trying to do is put some more things where they're talking about wellness. They're seeing their patients more frequently. They're engaging them in dialogue to really help the whole person. A great friend of mine, she works in women's health, and she said the last time I checked, a woman was not just her private parts. A woman was everything. And so if I'm treating women's health, I'm treating the whole woman. And I just think that's really cool. And I just think more and more practitioners, they want to accept that, but they don't know how to get there. They don't know how to change it. And that's what I help people do. So there's one tool that I have that I want to talk to you about now, and then I'll give you an opportunity to learn about some more of my tools. And it's behavior triggering, not just for the patient, but also for the healthcare provider. So there's two things. I have one thing, and it's a wellness goals grid. So I don't know if you've ever seen this. It's like a grid on a 0 to 5, like how do you feel now and how do you want to feel? And so that grid, whether they place it in the exam room, in the waiting room, whatever, kind of gives the patient a minute to say, you know what, I didn't think about how I could feel better, how I could be more optimal. Maybe I should talk to my doctor about this because it seems like she's a little bit more open to having these conversations. Maybe that wellness goals grid is in the exam room because that not only triggers the patient, but it also triggers the practitioner. So when the practitioner sees that, the practitioner can say, oh, you know what, Sarah, where do you feel today and how would you like to feel? But the biggest trigger that I set up in offices has to do with their intake form. Because I think intake forms, they're just there. It's just like paperwork, another thing that you fill out. And when's the last time you filled out? Do you fill out an intake form every time you go to see your physician? Does it ask if you're happy with your health? Does it ask about your sleep? Does it ask about your stress? Does it ask about, because there's health care, but the World Health Organization defines wellness by 7 different factors. And this includes how happy you are with your environment, how happy and fulfilled you feel with your spirituality, how happy you feel about the work that you're doing, your family life. There's so much more. Is your practitioner asking you that? I think mental health is going to be another huge topic in 2017. Is the practitioner, though, taking that and looking at the wellness goals grid and looking at the patient and saying, you know what, I want to talk about this. This is important. Let's book another appointment to talk just about this. This is that important. You came because of a headache, but I now want to talk to you about your overall well-being. Or I want to refer you to a specialist or a friend or someone else that can help you with this. And so what I've done with some practitioners who have forgotten to have those conversations is I've had them put this on bright pink paper, bright yellow paper, so when they see that this particular patient is coming, they filled out the wellness goals grid, they're going to take that time to look at it. They're going to know what information they like to talk to with their patients, and then they can have a dialogue. And then the question is, what do you do from there? How do you help them? Do you have the referrals? Do you have the resources? Do you have the programs? Do you have the protocols in place? How can you partner with that patient to move them forward? And that's going to be really important for you, not just because your patients are going to be happier, your patients are going to be healthier. It's really important for you because insurance companies are looking at it. They want you to have positive patient outcomes. They want to see that you're making this progression. And so you need some sort of metrics to measure this by. You need the tools to be able to bring this up in conversation. And last I checked, most health professionals didn't get any sort of business or marketing degree like I did and my husband did. And that's why we want to come to your office. I like to walk through as if I'm a patient. What would you give me? Where would I sit? What do I look at? How does this all work in your office? So I can make proper recommendations that are going to be behavioral triggers for your patients, for your staff, for yourself. So whatever your goals are, so if it's to put in a weight management program, you would do the same thing for your patients. You would help them create triggers and goals and metrics and things like that. But we're going to do the same thing for your wellness program. And so if you want to learn a little bit more about what I do and how I do this, in the link below, I'm actually going to post a link so you can register. I will host this Thursday, January 19th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be joined by a chiropractor out of Texas, and we're going to be talking about how you put together some sort of weight management, weight loss protocol in your office and why it's so important to do so. And what the insurance companies are looking for, when you want to use insurance, when you don't want to use insurance, how to involve staff members, why this is so important. And so I'll post the link below so you can listen in to the live call that's national, and you can see how you might want to get involved in furthering healthcare in 2017. Really appreciate that. I hope to see you. I guess I won't see you. I hope that you hear me, because I probably will have you on mute. I'll be able to hear you, but I hope you join us on this Thursday. Again, I am Sarah Tugender. If you don't already, like my page so you can get more tips about what's going on in healthcare, how you can be involved, whether you're a practitioner or you're someone who just really loves healthcare and wants to move yourself forward in a really interesting way, making a big impact. Then come join us in this movement. I'll talk to you soon.